Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you. Thank you, Choegyal. We'll be hearing from the Choegyal a little bit later with his highly anticipated address after dinner tonight. So we do have a very exciting night ahead to celebrate this momentous and historic occasion, with traditional Tibetan music, performances and prayers. And later tonight we'll be joined by incredible Australians from various professions sharing their stories about their experiences with His Holiness, including Dr. Sophie Scomps, the Independent Federal Member for Mackellar, the Reverend Bill Cruz from the Bill Cruz Foundation, NRTV's presenter and journalist Carla Grant, Dr. Feng Shongyi, Associate Professor in China Studies from the University of Technology in Sydney, and Australia's most loved chef, Kylie Kwong. Where's Kylie? I haven't seen her tonight yet. Oh, there she is right in front of me. Hey, hi Nell. Thanks for joining us. And so I'm looking forward to their speeches, and we'll have speeches after dinner by the representative of the Dalai Lama in Australia, Karma Sangye, and as I said earlier, Choegyal Penpa Sering, who is the political leader of Tibet. So we look forward to his address after dinner. Now, the Dalai Lama has a special relationship with Australia, having toured here 10 times, starting in 1982. In 1992, the then Prime Minister, Paul Keating, met with His Holiness to acknowledge his prominence as a religious figure and distinguished Nobel laureate. His Holiness received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989 for advocating for peace and freedom through non-violence based on Buddhist philosophy. In 2007, the then Prime Minister John Howard met with His Holiness also, despite staunch opposition from China. Since then, Prime Ministers, political officials have unfortunately been reluctant to meet with His Holiness due to the ongoing pressures from China. We're living in uncertain and challenging times where human rights and international law are being tested and challenged across the globe. Especially right now, in the forefront is the plight of the Palestinians, whom I also support. We're grateful that political leaders and public personalities have joined us tonight in celebrating and supporting His Holiness' lifelong advocacy for Tibet, the Tibetan cause, and openly speaking out for human rights. And a big thank you to all of you here tonight for continuing your efforts for a free Tibet. I join you in your advocacy and fight for human rights and freedoms for Tibet, and for all peoples in Australia, as an Australian Lebanese journalist, writer and producer. And as I said before, I produced the We Bleed the Same exhibition, which we are honoured that His Holiness has agreed to share his story and photography in our exhibition through his official photographer, Tenzin, who's based in Dharamsala. I'm obviously a big supporter and a friend of His Holiness. He actually told me to call him his friend, which is quite amazing. And after having interviewed him 3 times on various visits to Australia from 2011, and tonight I'm also showing my solidarity with the people of Tibet wearing the traditional shupa. This is... Thank you. It's a great honour to be wearing this. I asked their permission to ensure, obviously that it was appropriate. And I felt tonight, we want to celebrate Tibetan culture. And I'd like to thank Shuni, the incredible Tibetan dressmaker, who made hand-stitched the dress for me to suit my physique, if you like. She's based in Nepal. And I'd like to also quickly thank Kinzum Donghu, Kinzum, who works with the Tibetan community. She was also Australia's first Tibetan lady to run for Parliament. Where is Kinzum? Where are you? Are you hiding? She doesn't like the limelight. I can't see you. Oh, okay. Oh, there, she's right there. Okay. Thank you, Kinzum. I really appreciate you facilitating the Shupa. And look, also tonight, like I said, we're celebrating Tibetan culture because sadly, under China's oppression in Tibet, Tibetans can't freely express and practice their culture, their language in public. They can't show His Holiness photo in public or they'd be arrested. So I think it's really important that, we think of that, we're conscious of that. And tonight we proudly celebrate this beautiful ancient culture and recognise His Holiness' lifelong struggle for a free Tibet. Now I've got to be conscious to keep short because we have a lot of speeches later tonight. I don't want to be up here for too long speaking. You'll get sick of me. But just very, very quickly, I just wanted to share with you when I first met His Holiness. I was producing a program at SBS Television where I worked for about 20 years. Some of my SBS colleagues are here. I was producing the Mandarin News Australia News and Current Affairs show. And we were featuring prominent people in the community. And we thought, well, we have to ask the Dalai Lama, not thinking that he would say yes. And unbelievably, he said yes. So we're like, oh my God, we have an interview with the Dalai Lama. And it was during his Australian visit in 2011 in Perth. And my journalist at the time, I was producing the show, she's Tibetan, and she was so nervous and terrified about her interview. And I said to her, don't worry, you'll be fine. I'll be right behind you. It's all good. Just think of him as another person. And then suddenly we're in the room, we're all set up for the interview, and the door opens, and I quickly said, Lynn Bain actually was facilitating the interview. And I said to Lynn, oh my gosh, how do we greet His Holiness? Like, what do I say? How do we do this? And she said, you just stand, don't touch him, and say, Tashi Delek, Your Holiness, like that. I said, okay, good, I can do that. And so Amy was in front of me, she was first, and we thought, well, let her go first because she was so nervous. And eloquently, she stood there together, Tashi Delek, Your Holiness, and she was fine. And then he came to me. I completely lost it. I was sobbing, tears rolling down my face. And I just didn't know, I was so overwhelmed. And he said to me, oh, but what is the matter? And I said, I don't know, Your Holiness. And I kept crying. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm just overwhelmed. I don't know, it must be your presence. I don't know. He said, oh, just think of me as your friend. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to cry even more. So I was very touched. And since then, of course, you know, hearing the stories from His Holiness and the fact that, you know, he can't go back to his homeland, being displaced, a refugee for over now 6 to 7 decades, you know, it's heartbreaking. And hearing about, you know, the oppression that the Tibetans endure every day in their own country is heartbreaking. So I feel compelled and I have the fire in my belly to, as much as I can, share with the permission of His Holiness his story and the story, obviously, of Tibet. And just a very quick note, I'd just like to say on Lynn Bain's behalf, who has been a very big, staunch supporter of Tibet, and she works closely with the Tibetan community here in Sydney, is unfortunately unable to join us, and she just wanted me to say she's so sorry she couldn't be here. Her mum is unwell, but she sends her sincere gratitude to His Holiness and the Tibetan community for having allowed her the privilege to serve, and she's sending lots of love. So just very quickly, I was also very fortunate to have the opportunity to interview the first Sikyong, Dr. Lobsang Sangye at the Opera House, also in 2011. And for those that may not know, in 2011, His Holiness split his role and he's maintained his role as a spiritual leader of the of Tibet. And then there's the role of the political leader of Tibet, that is a democratically elected leader. And it's wonderful. It's such a great honour to have the Sikyong Penpa Sering here with us tonight from Dharamsala, India. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's very important. And now, without further ado, you're probably sick of me now by now, I'd like to please welcome to the stage human rights activist and lawyer, Baramatigal woman of the Darug-speaking peoples, Jane Christian, who has kindly agreed to deliver the welcome to country.
Warami Nidagaga and Barak, everyone. It's good to see you. My name is Jane Christian and I'm a Baramatigal woman of the Darug Nation, also known as a language group, and my bloodline is through the Reed Gold-speaking family, the Eel people. We're here tonight on Gadigal land, the Whale people of the Darug Nation. I am going to try and stick to what I've written because it comes to 4.5 minutes and I don't want to be the one that slows everything down. But before I deliver the welcome, I just wanted to share some thoughts and reflections, as it's been 12 years now since I visited Tibet myself. It was back in 2013, and I was among the first group of people from Western countries who were permitted to enter Tibet again after a 12-month lockdown due to a rising number of self-immolations around the Bakur area in Lhasa. And when I left Australia, the law was still that we couldn't get into Tibet, and I used a dummy itinerary to get my visa. And then when we got there, we just sorted it out and ended up in Tibet anyway. So I knew at that point in time that His Holiness lived in exile, but I hadn't really considered the practical reality of what life was like in Tibet under occupation. And so it was very confronting and sobering for me when I arrived and recognised the dynamics and realities playing out there. I was only in Tibet for 3 weeks, and then I went on to spend a month in Dharamshala, assisting with conversation classes with the Tibetan community, and I was lucky to be staying right next to where His Dalai Lama lives, His Holiness, and attended some of his teachings there as well. When I was leaving Tibet, I just wanted to share this little reflection. The CCP confiscated a Lonely Planet guide from my luggage that was actually a guide for Thailand, and it had nothing to do with Tibet. And being 25 years old, I was quite agitated by that, and I started to voice it. And a Tibetan man stepped forward and he said, "Just let it go." And I said, "But it's not even for here." And he said, "But Lonely Planet tells the truth." And I felt something very deep within me when he said that, and I did let it go. And I also had an emotional breakdown as I walked across the Friendship Bridge into Nepal. Through Nepal and India, I bought other books, and I remember something that I read, and I'm paraphrasing because it's been 12 years, that His Holiness had said, was that in many ways it would have been better for Tibet to stay isolated and peaceful as it was. But the way the world went, they had to create relationships and allies to help them in the current situation. And he said, in terms of tourists going into Tibet, he had a view that if anyone was lucky enough to experience Tibet, the price of that was to always speak the truth about Tibet. And I've always taken that very seriously. So I'm very grateful for that experience. It's very much shaped the person I am in the world today. It's made me a better advocate in our own struggles and a believer in solidarities in all the important work that we're doing. I'm very grateful to His Holiness for his example and his teachings, and I too wish him a long and peaceful life. I'll now deliver the welcome to country, and I'd just like to acknowledge that I was taught and permitted to deliver this welcome by Uncle Greg Sims, who was a Gadigal man of the Whale people. He was a respected community elder, and he recently passed away. We only had his funeral last Friday. Tiadi Mara Daraga Pemo, Kauimara Pemo Nagalaringi Babuna, Banai Yamana Waranang, Nai Disigai Dai Yanangami Diaralang, Nagalaringi Tiadi Nagalaringi Nagami Gai, Guyuili Angara Gunagal Gunagal, Dalalo Imugu Kopala Nangami, Disilala Trimugunagal, Jamia Tiadi Nagalaringi Orjumana, Midigal Goran Barak Nadaraga Pemo, Didrigo. As we take our next steps, remember the ones who walked this sacred land before. This is Darug lands, the land of our ancestors. Their spirits still walk amongst us. Spirits that have been here since the dreaming. Our language and culture have been passed down through generations to continue an unbroken culture that has extended for thousands of years. In the language of our people, we welcome you to Darug lands.
Thank you, Jane, for that beautiful welcome. Can we now please stand for Tibet's national anthem? Please remain standing for our national anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you. Can we please now put our hands together for Tibetan Buddhist monks to welcome them to the stage to perform chants and prayer. Geshe Dampa, Geshe Lobsang and Geshe Hunsok. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Kinzom. Now, if we can please put our hands together again for Tibetan singers to welcome them to the stage, and they're going to perform an opera song called Namda. This is traditionally performed at the beginning of a ceremony for good luck. How magical to hear those amazing, amazing sounds. And we have more wonderful music coming up now. If we can please welcome to the stage and another amazing musician, Tenzin Choegyal, to perform his prayer song Gangri Raw, which means snowy mountains. This single is from Tenzin's upcoming album. It's called Be the Sky, and it's in a collaboration with Philip Glass and in honour of His Holiness's 90th birthday. Very exciting. Can't wait to hear this. And a round of applause also for the children accompanying Tenzin. It's the Children's Tibetan Choir from DY.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yes, that's great. I'm going to do a very special piece that I wrote last year. I was actually anticipating, and I wrote this piece, which has to be something that every Tibetan can sing. It's not something that I alone, when I'm singing, it's not just me singing it. So I chose the stanza that almost every Tibetan within Tibet, Tibetan in exile knows the stanza. So let me read the stanza in English so that you understand why I'm singing this. And the kids are the heroes of this piece, okay? And fortunately, if you go on any music platform, it's out there. I wrote it with, the composition is with Philip Glass, so you can listen to it. We just released it on His Holiness's birthday. So. Okay, so it reads, in the land encircled by snowy mountains is the source of all happiness and benefit, all compassionate Tenzin ocean of wisdom. May you stand firm until the samsara ends. So it's basically almost every Tibetan recites that every day. So, and it's my pleasure to be presenting this song, or I would say Choegyal, in presence of our amazing leader, democratically elected leader, our Sikhyong. So please, all the Tibetans, if you can join with me, that would be great. And the idea of soul, if you can catch the soul, the idea of soul is, in Tibetan we have this, when we do the incense burning puja, we call out soul. And it's, in my mind, I kept it lyrically as less as possible. And when we call out the soul, it's about asking all the deities to come and join in this prayer. Okay? You there? You there? Okay. I came all the way from Brisbane just to sing this song. The hero of this song, and so please give them another round of applause. If it is recited in Tibet, will have to be very quietly, secretly recited. So, as you know, and then kids here have lots of freedom, and the kids back in Tibet, they don't have much freedom. Anyway, thank you so much.
Wow, we're really being spoilt tonight, aren't we? Can we give them another round of applause? That were incredible. Thank you so much, Tenzin and the kids. So now I'd like to welcome to the stage our co-host of this incredible event. Please welcome Michael Regan, MP. I might just adjust those for you.
It's all good.
Yep.
You're pretty good at adjusting that. It's okay. 6'4". Wow, how come I've got to follow the best part of the night? The kids, honestly, it's not fair. Incredibly humbling tonight to be co-hosting this, and I just want to say to any parliamentary colleagues here tonight, welcome and thank you for joining. Could I single out Dr. Sophie Scomps, who's here, our federal member on the Northern Beaches, the awesome Northern Beaches. Welcome, Dr. Soph, and Your Worship, the Mayor of the Northern Beaches, Sue Hines. Welcome, Sue. Great to see you here, and it is, and I'll do my best to stick to my speech, but there are some things I just want to add personally, but it is an absolute privilege, and it's very humbling to welcome you all tonight to New South Wales Parliament House. It is the oldest parliament, as I'm constantly reminded, in the country, and has extraordinary history. And only just a few months ago we hosted King Charles and Queen Camilla, so they joined us here in Parliament. But it is incredibly important when we think about the relationship of democracy and what we have here versus what Tibet doesn't have. And that's why it's incredibly humbling to be able to host tonight for me, and on such an important occasion when we're actually celebrating and marking the occasion of the 90th birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, an absolute global hero of peace. And to state the obvious, the Dalai Lama is an absolute legend of our times. His Holiness is the spiritual leader for Tibetans, but really is a living treasure for all people. His wisdom has been a source of moral guidance and inspiration for over so many decades. And I was reminded of this only just this week at a funeral of a friend, when the Dalai Lama quote flashed up on the screen during this funeral ceremony. And it said something that I think I've always lived by, and it just resonated with myself and many, or the hundreds in the room. And it was, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. And this amazing friend and colleague, who we were sadly farewelling, had lived these very words, and it was a reminder that we can all We all can and we all should. We should all do that. And so through his words and through his actions, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has shown us what true leadership can look like. Strong and resilient, but grounded in profound love and empathy. And empathy is not a lot you see these days, particularly in politics. His Holiness has spent a lifetime advocating for non-violence, mutual respect and understanding. Values that transcended borders, faiths and politics. In a world too often divided by conflict, his message is more and more important than ever. Now, I represent the electorate of Wakehurst, which includes one of the largest Tibetan communities in Australia. Tibetan is one of the top 5 languages spoken in DY, which, if you think about it, DY Public School has 62 nations going to that school. Not bad, hey? And it's the 5th most spoken. And I've always had a deep admiration for the Tibetan people, and in the face of unimaginable oppression and dispossession, you've shown incredible grace, ingenuity and commitment to culture. And it turns out some of you can even play cricket. Because one of the councils I led, they decided, with some help of some friends here I can see at another table, set up a cricket game against my council, and they smashed us. Little was I to know that that was one of their things. But the guiding light provided by the Dalai Lama is clearly an incredible source of unity and strength, but also cricket skills. Who knew? But there are many Tibetan leaders here tonight, and I want to acknowledge the Honourable Penpa Tsang, the Sikyong, the President of the Central Tibetan Administration in Exile. And we had a lovely conversation and a rest, I think you would call, on your busy schedule, back up in my office upstairs. And it was great to be able to reconnect and say g'day and talk about all things about your community, our community, and what we can do together, and our shared passion for peace. But we are here to celebrate. And I just want to say, I've been incredibly lucky as a politician. I accidentally got elected in 2008 to be the mayor. It's a story I won't go into, but here I am, 2025. Some years later, and I had the privilege of getting to know, you think you know a lot about your community, turns out you know 9/10 of nothing until you become a political figure. And the Tibetan culture really, I knew a little bit about and thought I knew a fair bit about because of just my own personal interest, but you learn so much more from being with them, sitting with them, talking to them and making them citizens of your great democracy. And I never forget, one of my favourite ones was when I'm doing my citizenship, was one of the nicest things you can do as a mayor is you make people citizens, and you hear the stories, you ask questions because I'm genuinely interested. And I was told the story of a group of Tibetans who were told they were coming to Australia. They were in their refugee camp over in India, and they were speaking. They were so thrilled that they were about to be made citizens and go to another country out of this thing. But they said, "We're not going to Australia. We don't want to go to Australia." "You're going to Australia." "No, we don't want to go to Australia. We want to go to DY." DY is in Australia, people. They had no clue, bless them. So, and I never forgot that story, and it just resonated. And then to play against them at DY Oval and get beaten at cricket, I was not happy. But look, we're here tonight, and it's the 90th. As the Dalai Lama continues to inspire new generations to lead with kindness, and I stress that word kindness, to put community above self and to walk gently on this earth, something we all need to do. So what an extraordinary legacy. So tonight, let us not only celebrate a remarkable life, but rededicate ourselves to the principles he has championed: peace, compassion, and the unwavering belief in our shared humanity. Happy birthday, Your Holiness, and thank you for being a light in the world.
Thanks so much, Michael, for your beautiful and entertaining speech. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to welcome to the stage the President of the Sydney Tibetan Community, Nawa Choegyal, who will address us in Tibetan, and Vice President Pasang Kipa, who will also address us. Please welcome to the stage.
Samadash delay. Hello, good evening. Divine Radang Jiu Drawing Jizashi Chembo, Kamsim Choegyal, Jite Shide Tehun, Ganjin Pochi like a General Concession Chop Selector Gondang, Gucci Pepe, Kia Corton Jitashi to Sander, Sinipur Tensoji, Chapon did Memayon Subsidi, Gosa Chango Chola, Gosam Hapsha Jami Tachi, Samdatash Delishid. Giving in the good Chepe Navi, Johnny Gendam Banambatang, Chinangi Kimdo Namba, Kazakton Jacama Sangecho, Upomi Jinzi, Padin Sujong Pema Siricho, Padin Sujong Choketon, Shonshap Sarwatan Little Namba, Sinipur Tensoji Jini Sarwatan Little Namba, Shaya Tutola Namji Nankin Sama, Lasam Surmichi got in some decision. Zamlander, Shivdedan Tandela Gavi, Mima Sayama Botan, Laton Jandi Kanshimba Namchi, Nimsinga, the Sunday Shimshambana, Gonsa Changun Chimbochok, Kutse Kabja Tenjan, Tuji Yawa Mandura Te Yimbe, Shalo Niton Yishana Dadumbi, Tari Ninin, Gonsa Changun Chimbochoki, Kantan Rumsham Mountain Peti Yoncha Cotton Jawana, Zaman Chitan Yangu Pokawa Kanshimbe, Tede Chino Yongla, Zoden Savi Derchi Yamachina Quatino, Tonson Rinchinji Kaya, Shavi Nishiman Chijang, Tetam Sami Gumochola, Tuji Lami Chijin. Lord Juji Dorant and Gopar Umi Terang and Zegor, Consam Choka Tuchil in Choi, Porgi Lorji Samansu Lamsha Satu Chishan, Mimange Mansu Totan, Latar Chikovja Navi, Rupomi Drinzi Chepadin Sijon Pemba Serancho, Chepe Chekalo Noati, Muxar Jedentan Travi Tonya Dembazi Chon Ye. Detin Zeram de Toma Chango Shekani, Padin Sijoncho, Muxar Kumdun de Pebjer, Malam to Minyoya, Jemjan. Ola consultant Karma Sankin Chotan, Jay Namlam Boker Zember Shivi, Tommy Malam Tengunter Shawang, Demretan, Jitso Cheparjini Shawar, Sinipur Tensoji, Jilinam Chifupa Chimpu, but then Sujon Choker, Liter warning, Atsumondo La Siprano, Katanaya, to Jelenja Shijin. Devshin the consultant Cholayang, to Jijin. Tuchin the Taoji Tomar, Jinlinato, Kotor Shivani, Chimuchi, Dr. Nanshan. Jinri Liton Ter, Sochon Zinziki, Chiza Tondu, Shinzon Chotan, Sojan Pasan Chipa, Consancho Deji Sochon Jetamba Limbin, Dorgung Donamba Tajin, Lindevi Jones, Sanji Lirila, Joa Shikin, Kain, Donmi Mirik, Deran Shibja Nankin, Jenny Crest Chila, Mixaji Tiji Jane. Jayan Zego Terini Chesa Gangi, Gigin Sayambe Chotan, Sevi Lotri Chatomba Namba, Liju Dukaraka, Donlen Kemachi, Kesancha, Shiva Tachin Tenzi Chujan Choki. Tomani legend de Japtolami Nanshan, Remiche Chapton Noaso, Terang Zego Chapton Bayonla, Tuji Chijin. Taton Zego Dutan Jevi, Sonde Tan Yita, Tungar Chitoko Chichijinda Nankin Namba, Shayan Zimshan Lunkinchi, Sojiva Mama Yonchi, Tunjo Lami Naur, Quatin Shinta Chijin. Zegonder, Chando Nonkichi, Mima Kawashi Taton Yochang, Sokangi Chechontan, Shabdachi, Tranching Nichin Shili Mapi, Sama Kurka Tunta Marshal Gonsi Shijin, Onja, Ochaka Tamsi Sunga Chik the Derby, Temji, Acha Tamola Ongi, Sonam Chijis or Cheparji Sayopa, Yichi Shivin. Shaya Terangi Kokam the Gini, Ola Shomani Layang, Samdatan Tiji Chijimasi, Kamde Litun, Nyavra Nankin, Sani Tusopama, Michael Regan Layang, Tuji Chijin. Mixar Sashi Pomima Chidu, Dora Tenzin Ponso. Zego Dende Shujan, Chatame Kalin Jori, Sashi Zami, Taton Consa Changun Chimbo Choki, Kacho Tendu Tonda, Kase Kabdir Tenjan, Tiji Jagon, Tata Kami Linchi de Mondan Town, Pomochu, Namti Yonchin, Tundra Dosa Chigrichi, Consan Joko Kajin to Pen Chopare, Junayovi, Janko Chame, Sinipur in terms of capture Jibi Sotuna Chinzinchi, Sholoniton, Nishizanga, Dadumbi, Chichini, Sama Tuchina.
Firstly, I would like to acknowledge that we are on Aboriginal land, and I would like to pay my respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, honorable members of Parliament and members of the Tibetan community. On behalf of Tibetan community, it is my honor to welcome you all to this special occasion, the 90th birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. I would like to extend my warm welcome to our esteemed guest, the Sikyong of Central Tibetan Administration. Your presence here today is a testament to the resilience and unity of the Tibetan people, and we are honored to have you here with us today. Furthermore, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all those who have supported the Tibetan cause and advocate for the rights and well-being of the Tibetan people. Also, our co-host, Mr. Michael Riggin, for your support. Especially, I would like to express my gratitude to the Dalai Lama in Australia Institute. Your tireless contributions in coordinating His Holiness's visit to Australia have brought joy, inspiration, and wisdom to countless individuals. This occasion is not only a celebration of His Holiness's long and extraordinary life, but a recognition of his unwavering dedication to peace, compassion, and well-being of humanity. His Holiness has been a global advocate for non-violence, dialogue, and human values. His message has simple but powerful, that the true peace begins with the inner peace and sense of shared responsibility. His Holiness has guided Tibetan peoples through one of the most difficult periods in our history. Since going into exile in 1959, he has worked tirelessly to preserve Tibetan identity, its religion, language, and culture, while promoting the middle way approach to resolve the issue of Tibet through peaceful negotiation and mutual respect. For Tibetans, His Holiness is more than a leader. He is a source of strength, unity, and hope. This year, in honor of His Holiness's 90th birthday, Tibetans around the world have dedicated this year a year of compassion. It is a tribute to the values he has championed throughout his life, values that are not just Tibetan, but universal. As we mark this special milestone, we express our deepest gratitude for His Holiness's lifelong service to humanity. We also reaffirm our commitment to uphold the principles he stands for: peace, nonviolence, and compassion. Happy 90th birthday, Your Holiness. May you continue to inspire and guide us for many more years to come. Long live His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pasang. Now it's time to hear from the representative of the Dalai Lama to Australia, Karma Sangye. Please welcome him to the stage.
So, first of all, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodian of the land, the Choegyal people on which we gathered here today. I pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. His Holiness the Dalai Lama turned 90 years old just few days ago, and millions of people around the world celebrated the significant milestone with great reverence and joy. Today we are gathered here in this historic place in the new Southwell Parliament House with heart full of joy and gratitude to celebrate the 90th birthday of His Holiness Dalai Lama, who is one of the foremost global leader of 21st century, who dedicated his entire life to promote peace, compassion, and nonviolence. Even at 90, His Holiness continued to inspire all of us with his unwavering commitment for the well-being of all sentient beings. To honor His Holiness' 90th birthday, the Central Tibetan Administration has declared this year as a year of compassion. So this year is not only a celebration, but also an opportunity to reflect on His Holiness' lifelong achievement and his vision for the better world and happiness of all sentient beings. As a part of this year-long celebration, my office, Tibet Information Office, the Tibetan communities across Australia, and Tibet Support Group, Australia Tibet Council, Friends of Dalai Lama and Tibet, we will be in the coming months organizing series of events and programs to highlight His Holiness' lifelong achievement and his contribution for the world, peace and humanity. So I would very appreciate if our guests here could join these events in your area when we organize that, so that you will separate the message of His Holiness, the compassion and kindness. His Holiness says compassion and kindness are the fundamental foundation of both individual happiness and world peace. So I will not take much of time because we have many speakers lined up here tonight. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our Honorable Sikyong here, who is the democratically elected political leadership of CTA. This is Sikyong's second visit to Australia since he was elected as Sikyong in 2021. So as a representative of Central Tibetan Administration here in Australia, I would like to extend my warm welcome to Sikyong. So this is really a rare opportunity for all of us to hear from Sikyong tonight. And finally, I would like to thank Dr. Sophie, the federal member for Macleay, who is a well-known and steadfast friend of Tibet. And also I would like to thank Michael, who is the co-host of today's event, and he is a very popular figure among the Tibetans in DY. And I would like to extend my thanks to Reverend Bill Cruz, a very long time friend of Tibet and a friend of His Holiness Dalai Lama, and Dr. Choegyal, and all the distinguished guests here, and every one of you who joined this very special occasion. And your presence here is really means a lot, and thanks for your support for His Holiness Dalai Lama and the Tibetan people. So finally, I would like to pray for the long life of His Holiness Dalai Lama. May His Holiness live long and peace prevail on the earth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Karma. Now it's time to hear from some of our prominent Australians who will share their experiences with His Holiness for his historic birthday occasion, starting with Dr. Sophie Scoms, the Independent Federal Member for Mackellar.
Hello everyone. Well, I can say, and I think most of everyone in the room here would feel extremely honoured, delighted and joyful to be a part of this amazing celebration. This is an incredibly auspicious moment. Not only tonight are we celebrating the 90th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, but also celebrating that life dedicated to peace and compassion, a lifelong commitment that is indeed an exceptional life. I would also like to extend an incredibly warm welcome to the Sikyong for his coming to our country, to Australia, particularly during this incredibly special time. Thank you so much for visiting us here. I would also like to thank and again express my deepest and warmest welcome to Karma Sinjay, the official representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Always wonderful to see you and catch up. Thank you for being here tonight. And also, And to Michael and the President and Vice President of the Tibetan community in Sydney, thank you so much for hosting us in this beautiful venue and place tonight. We are, again, all very delighted to be here. Thank you. And again, special guests as well. Thank you. I too won't speak for very long, but it is an incredibly auspicious moment that we are celebrating. I feel incredibly honoured to be a part of this celebration. It is a moment in history. I do think that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, his life, has been a leading light for all humanity for his entire lifetime, and it is extraordinary that we are celebrating 90 years of his life tonight. He is a beacon of hope, love and strength for the people of Tibet, both the people inside Tibet and the people outside of Tibet. He is also a beacon of hope for many others who are not Tibetan all around the world. And as we hear that hope for a different way, we are faced with so many different tragedies and crises as we sit here tonight. We have conflicts, we have environmental degradation, we have climate change. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama leads not only by his words but his actions for a very different way, a way of compassion, a way of love and a way of peace. And we know that he has done that his entire life in more than words and in actions, in advocating non-stop for the middle way for Tibet and always providing that hope to the people of Tibet. And we thank him for that. It was, of course, I think, an extremely joyful and exciting moment just last week when we had the statement from His Holiness the Dalai Lama saying that the spiritual institution of the Dalai Lama would continue. Yeah. I actually can't imagine the joy that Tibetan people all around the world would have felt when they heard that message. And I really hope that message has made its way through the borders and into Tibet as well. I can't imagine what it means to the people inside Tibet. I also want to say that we had the most marvellous celebration. I hear you with DY. DY, we had the most wonderful celebration just last weekend. And it really is a wonderful thing to see that on the other side of the world from Tibet, in a place that geographically is completely different probably from the country of Tibet. We're on the coast, it's very warm, a very different place from your original homeland, but yet still able to celebrate in a very passionate, a very vibrant way, and in a way that really showcased both the art, the traditions and the culture of the Tibetan people. And I want to say here and now that I am extraordinarily proud of the Australian Tibetan community here. I know that you strive so hard week in, week out to preserve and protect your culture. We are incredibly proud of you, and I know Tibetan people all around the world are incredibly proud of you. We also know how grateful you are that the Australian government has allowed you to pursue your religious freedom and culture in freedom. But I also want to let you know that we are extraordinarily grateful as well for everything that you have given to our community here in Australia. And leading again with that sense of compassion and kindness gives so much back to our community, and we thank you deeply for that. I was extremely lucky and honoured to be able to participate in a parliamentary delegation to Dharamsala, where I did meet the Sikyong, and so I hope that we can return your very generous hospitality while you're here, and I look forward to many more visits in the future. With that, I'd also like to wish His Holiness the Dalai Lama all the health and happiness for many, many years ahead. We look forward to the years ahead and the messages that we bring us. And to everyone here tonight, I wish you all a joyful celebration of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, his 90th birthday, and of course of his entire life. Thank you so much for having us.
The Reverend Bill Cruz is making me do acrobatics to get onto the stage. Can you please welcome the Reverend Bill Cruz from the incredible Bill Cruz Foundation.
Happy birthday, my dear, dear, dear friend. Happy birthday. Your very soul cries freedom. Your very being lives freedom. Freedom is like the wind. You are like the wind. The Chinese government can build all the walls all around the place, and the wind eventually blows them away. Blows them away. But your soul exists in your people and people you influence. And just listening to those children, their singing is of freedom, you know? It's of freedom. And nobody can take that away from us. We are all given with that. So I just want to say to His Holiness, God bless you. God bless you. The greatest gift you have given is to give to the whole world your being. That's the greatest gift. And in a way, the stupidity of the Chinese government, because they caused it to happen. The very being of the Tibetan people and the very soul and the very being of the Dalai Lama himself has been freed to the whole world to make us all better people, all of us. And so I just want to say, God bless the Dalai Lama, God bless the Tibetan people, God bless us all, and may we all in our own way attempt to live the life and the way he did, or you do. Amen. Thank you.
We could have had a little bit of a waltz there, Bill. Thank you for those wonderful words. Now, can you please welcome to the stage NITV's Executive Producer of Living Black News and Current Affairs program, presenter and journalist Carla Grant.
Thanks, Liz. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here tonight. Firstly, I would like to say thanks to Jane for that wonderful welcome to country earlier. And I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we gather on tonight, the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Thank you so much to Choegyal and the Tibetan Community of New South Wales for inviting me here tonight to pay tribute and celebrate His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday. And it's also wonderful to see the Sikyong here tonight. I had the pleasure of interviewing him 2 years ago in 2023 on your last visit here, and I'd like to welcome you back to our beautiful country. His Holiness has a special place in my heart. I've had the great honour of interviewing him twice, the first time in 2013 when he toured the country delivering his teachings at several events, and the second time was when he made his historic visit to Uluru and met the Ununu people, the traditional owners of the land there. I remember during his visit to Australia in 2013, on his way to Darwin, his plane flew over Uluru and he could see Uluru from his window, and he said that he wanted to visit that sacred place. And so he did when he came back in 2015. And when I interviewed him at Uluru, he expressed to me how wonderful it was to see the rock, as he called it, and he was very happy to meet with the local people. I don't think he really appreciated the flies, but he managed to fight them off. And it truly was an incredibly spiritual meeting between His Holiness and the Ununu people. And even though they both spoke different languages, you could see the deep respect that they had for one another and the special bond that they had formed. I know that many Indigenous Australians feel a very special connection with His Holiness because we share similar experiences in terms of the dispossession of land and the fight to maintain and preserve our languages and culture. And during his last visit here, he imparted his knowledge and wisdom on my people and the importance of modernisation and education. And that he said, while it's vitally important to keep practising our language and cultural traditions, it's also important to learn new ways and move with the times so that we aren't left behind. And I think they are very wise words, along with his messages of peace, compassion and tolerance, and spreading kindness to one another. I'll always hold dear the times I met with His Holiness. I was struck by his wonderful sense of humour and his childlike playfulness. I wish he could be here with us tonight so that we could wish him happy birthday in person, but I'm sure he's here with us in spirit. And hopefully he will visit us again in the near future. So I'd like to wish His Holiness a very happy 90th birthday, and I hope he will have many more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. I'd now like to welcome to the stage the Associate Professor Feng Shongyi from the University of Technology, and he's also an Adjunct Professor of History at Nankai University in Tianjin, China. He was arrested in China, wasn't he, in 2017? So we're happy that he was released and he's with us. So I don't think he'll be going back to China soon.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much for the honor of invitation. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you an interesting little story. Back June 2013, I was invited to join His Holiness Dalai Lama to address a very huge crowd in the Sikyong Temple was there, Bill Cruz also there, Kim Jong-un was also there, all of us are there. And then I was invited to sit next to His Holiness Dalai Lama. And when I was sitting down, His Holiness asked me very seriously, Mr. Feng, look at me. Do I look like a monster or a liar? And then I asked back, what? Are you talking about Chinese communist propaganda? I said, no. I advocated for middle way and autonomy within China, within the Chinese constitution. But the Chinese communist government called me a monster, a separatist, and a liar. And then I said, oh, no, I know. I know a little of Buddhism. A monk does not lie, especially a great high monk like you will never lie. And then I said, who is the real liar, me or Chinese Communist Party? And then I laugh. I said, we Chinese, all the Chinese I know, the Chinese Communist Party is a habitual liar. They lie to everyone and they lie to themselves as well. And then also the Dalai Lama also laughed. Okay, I'm very glad that some Chinese believe in me. They don't believe in Chinese Communist Party, don't believe in Communist government. And I said, yeah, actually millions and millions of Chinese like me pay great respect for you and actually worship you. We Chinese also have millions of Buddhist followers. Nowadays, we don't follow Chinese Buddhism because Chinese monk sell the corruption with Chinese government. Whereas the Tibetan monk, they maintain as the spiritual home for Buddhism, the real Buddhism. So we actually hope you to live very long, and then Dalai Lama told me, oh, relax. I will live much longer than the Chinese Communist regime. Actually, I said, oh, the Chinese, 用 Chinese, 祝你长命百岁, that's long, far beyond 100 years old. And we firmly believe he will live beyond 100 years old and live far beyond the end of communist tyranny in China or in Tibet, and then live beyond the liberation of Tibet as well as China. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. While you're enjoying your dinner, ironically, I'm going to invite Australia's most loved chef, my favourite, Kylie Kwong.
Honourable guests, Sikyong Pempa Sering, dear friends, thank you to Jane Christian for your very warm welcome to country. This evening we gather on beautiful Gadigal land to celebrate a truly remarkable life, the 90th birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader of Tibet and a global icon of peace and compassion. Thank you very much to Tenzin, President of the Tibetan Community of Sydney, for inviting me to say a few words. It is a privilege for me to speak at this milestone event, and I am mindful that my experiences are deeply intertwined with those of my wife Nell and the many others who have been moved by the Dalai Lama's teachings. My own journey with Tibet and its people began long before I had the honour of meeting His Holiness. In 2005, I made 2 life-changing trips to Lhasa, where I was profoundly struck by the spiritual dedication and vibrant life force of the Tibetan people. Walking around the streets of Lhasa, eating delicious bowls of thugpa, which are the thin white rice noodles drenched in a thick, spicy brisket-based stock scattered with shallots, with the locals in the welcoming Tibetan tea houses, and experiencing the Choegyal Temple, the Potala Palace, and the Sira, Drepung and Ganden monasteries, I witnessed a community whose devotion and resilience shone brightly in the face of adversity. Their tenacity and unwavering spirit left an indelible mark, and I carry those memories with me every day. Over the years, we have had the great honour of not only meeting the Dalai Lama, but also introducing him to the stage at one of his Sydney tours in 2011. We are deeply grateful to Lynn Bain, the former Managing Director of the Dalai Lama in Australia organisation, for inviting us to be a part of these extraordinary moments. The Dalai Lama's visits were transformative for all of those who attended, offering not just wisdom, but a sense of connection and hope. Our personal journey with His Holiness has been profound. In 2009, I had the rare opportunity to cook for him backstage. And yes, I can confirm he does have a sweet tooth and loves chocolate cake. One of the highlights of my life was collaborating with Lynn and her team and with the Dalai Lama and his team to bring him onto MasterChef Australia. It was our dream to see his maroon robe dancing across the TV screen in front of millions of Australians, and in 2011 this dream became a reality, sharing the Buddhist message of peace and compassion with a new generation. But beyond these public and professional moments, the Dalai Lama's teachings have shaped our worldview and our day-to-day lives. His emphasis on kindness, empathy, and the interconnectedness of all beings has taught us to approach every challenge with a compassionate heart. His words have been a source of strength and clarity, especially during difficult times. When Nell and I lost our baby son Lucky in 2012, we were overwhelmed by grief. Lucky was half Tibetan, and it was the Dalai Lama's gesture of blessing Lucky's ashes during his 2013 Sydney tour that marked a turning point for us. That act of compassion gave us hope and helped us begin to heal. This support reminded us that even in our darkest moments, we are not alone, that there is always a hand reaching out, offering comfort and understanding. On this journey, we've also had the privilege of connecting with many of you here tonight from the local Tibetan community. Our shared reverence for the Dalai Lama has created bonds of friendship and solidarity that we deeply treasure. These relationships have enriched our lives and reminded us of the importance of community, especially in times of hardship. As we celebrate His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, let us reflect on his enduring message that compassion is not just an ideal, but a practical force for change. In a world often divided by fear and misunderstanding, his teachings offer a path forward, one built on empathy, respect, and a commitment to the well-being of all. Thank you for your wisdom, your kindness, and your unwavering commitment to peace, Your Holiness. Happy 90th birthday. Your life is a gift to us all.
Thank you, Kylie, for sharing a beautiful story. Really appreciate you sharing those insights with us. While you're enjoying your dinner, I'm starving. I'm looking forward to having some dinner as well. And I want to learn how to make some chocolate cake. Kylie, you'll have to help me. Please welcome to the stage our performers from the Tibetan Community Singers and Dancers and the children from the Tibetan School in DY. They'll be performing while you're still eating, and I'm going to enjoy some dinner. And then soon after, we'll have the much anticipated keynote speech by the formidable Choegyal Penpa Sering.
No, we can't move it. Yeah.
쉐고도 사셔. 쳐보래. 네.
Thank you.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you everyone. Very happy birthday, His Holiness. Hello.